Hi. Today I'm going to create a two-part series of business selling, which is one part where I think it is worthwhile for sellers to consider how they could effectively sell their business, especially during this COVID period, where there's a lot of global uncertainty. Second part is we would share as business investors ourselves what are the things or criteria we look into, perhaps some of the frameworks in assessing how good a company is and why we like a particular company. Okay, let's begin with the first part, which is how sellers should prepare themselves to sell their business. So it is unfortunate that we are dealing with COVID times where the economy, including the world economy, seems to be uncertain, and a lot of sellers would have on their mind, perhaps they may have kind of like postponed selling their companies, or they may have been starting to sell their companies for the last few years and tried to organize some form of succession planning, but it hasn't been a great time at this period where we are receiving so many uncertainties due to the coronavirus. And the fact is, economic uncertainty is always a part of life and a part of business cycle. And yes, there is options that you can wait out until this uncertain time maybe goes over, or perhaps hold on to a little bit longer till the better times return. Both are viable options, but it also depends on your motivation as a seller. Is there a perfect timing, the time when is the right time to sell, or if the conditions are right, and if you have the real reasons, which could be a range of reasons, we may come to explore that next, to sell your company, and perhaps when you meet the right buyer or somebody that's genuinely or sincerely interested to take over your business, what should you do? So let's explore some of these thoughts. I think one of the fundamental questions with regards to seller, or the mindset that the seller should have, is whether they are ready or not to sell their companies, be it at the good times or bad times. Maybe this fact can be put on a side for now. So you may think that you might be ready, but sometimes you may not actually be ready at all. You may have concerns, you may have worries, and it could be a lot of things, especially perhaps you're asking, is the buyer able to run my company well and successfully? Is the buyer able to look after my employees? Would they be able to do this? Would they be able to do that? There's some technical issues involved. I have built this company for so many years. How would they be able to control, run, and manage my company if I sell it on to them, or if I pass on the company to them? So these are some of the questions. Yes, these are all valid questions, and I believe like a good marriage or a relationship, sometimes it requires a level of working collaboration between two parties to have a good level or a healthy level of good faith to address these matters together. Sometimes these matters are not easily addressed within a short period of time. I've seen some deals where both parties try to outline a number of key issues in some regards, like some of the earlier questions that I've raised, and include as much clause and terms as possible, or work out some form of agreement that goes into the SPA, which is a short for sales and purchase agreement. So it could be prudent at times to kind of like work out conditions and possibilities and scenarios, but there's also always the danger of falling into trying to work out too many outcomes and conditions, because there are always a lot of elements that could be unpredictable during the process. Sometimes we come to the point where how is the deal structured? Is it a deal that is structured where completed payment is expected, or is that a deal that there is a spread of payment for a few years? So typically, well, there are some buyers out there who would be happy to complete this transaction, to pay you fully, to take the company from you. And it really depends as well the premium you're asking for. And if you're expecting a good, healthy premium for the price that the buyer wants to take over the company, so you probably would need to consider, well, would you be able to find the right kind of buyer? How many buyers out there are willing to do that? Or would you be able to find a more compromise between buyers who are willing to share the risk with you, meaning invest in the company at a certain amount of payment, and he'll be paying you over the years for what you think is your confidence level of how the company is going to be performing. So it sometimes comes down to valuation as well. And in terms of valuation, I have spoken to a broker recently saying that of his many years of experience, I think at least 25 in this market, how does valuation still work nowadays? Because most of valuation of companies are based on the historical performance of the company, especially the past few years, where there are multiple the premium or the goodwill, almost similar terms, but in different definitions depending on how you want to see it, are being derived from. And when this COVID time hits, the sales performance and profit performance may have dipped, and that may have seriously wiped off the valuation in the company. So, for instance, we do have a certain investment in public limited companies that I shouldn't name what's the name of the company, but it's in the aviation sector, one of the most successful, I would say, budget airline in our region. And because of the investment, or one of the biggest investment in that portfolio, before COVID-19 and after COVID-19, it's almost 50% of the value of the share price has been wiped off. So it's really unfortunate, but again, this is things that happens, business cycles. So this case applies to a lot of other industries as well. I think you will probably identify industry relating to hotel, tourism, perhaps some of the F&B are seriously affected in such form and manner. So the point is, okay, these are some of the considerations. Going back to on the key theme of this video, as a seller, are you serious about selling your company? If you believe that you're ready to sell the company, you need to be committed to your conviction, because it's from the belief that you will take the right kind of action, pursue healthy, positive engagement with potential sellers, discuss with them, negotiate with them, and if you are doing it through a broker, have that kind of ongoing healthy engagement with them as well, so that a favorable deal, a collaborative deal can be achieved. Otherwise, it's not likely going to happen. The chances of success is going to be low. There's always the facts where it is a buyer's market right now, where it is less than 1 out of 10 businesses which are actually being sold in the market. So these are not just claims, but there are actual market statistics and data that leads to that way. So it's not all bad at all if it's a buyer's market. It just means that seller has to work a little bit harder and being more committed. It just becomes a lot harder if you're not even sure that you want to sell your company. So once you are sure that you want to sell the company, take constructive steps, learn how to do it, be positive about it. You'll be meeting perhaps different various buyers if you take the effort to. Some buyers may meet your criteria, some buyers may not meet your criteria. So it is taking action and making reality happen. And also you'll be examining again, which you probably have in the first place, the key reason of why you're selling, and it could be because you want to retire, it could be because you want to enter another different field, it could be because you want to focus your investments in other areas or get involved in other businesses. It could be a variety of reasons, but understand your why, and especially your big why, and if that big why is really important to you, be sometimes honest about it as well and share it with the potential buyer, because the potential buyer usually is also quite interested to understand why you're selling, and also find ways and routes to help you achieve your goals while achieving theirs if they want to acquire your company. It's again a very collaborative effort. It needs two parties to work together. So that's having said that, I will try to reference a few pointers that is being shared by an article saying how to help businesses owner to sell during COVID-19. So I will just mainly share the key points and summary here. So the point number one, be flexible with buyers. Business sellers are more nervous than ever about how their sale will go and the price that they will be able to get for their businesses. So businessforsale.com recently conducted a survey that found 65% of buyers on the site had more than $50,000 to use as their deposit. The great news for small businesses. However, the same business also found that 75% of buyers were expecting the asking price for businesses to come down. So you will need to carefully discuss with the seller that there may be a need to be flexible on the asking price should they want to make a sale. Next pointer, sell a plan for the future. Any buyer that is looking to invest at the amount will be hoping to get a good deal for now for the potential payoff when the markets return to some form of normalcy. Be clear about what it is that the buyer will be getting in the future. How has the business made adjustments for future trading online, or where can these additions easily be made should the buyer be able to inject the right capital? Point number three, patience is still a virtue. Despite the reassuring advice, there's still a lot to be said for trying to avoid the knee-jerk reaction sales if the seller is hoping to get a high asking price for their business. This is a tricky time for small businesses owners though. And the next point, probably the last one, promote the business. So it says here, using online marketplaces to promote the sale of a businesses is now, more than ever, an intelligent route to take. The cost is relatively low, but more importantly, users are able to access to the thousands of buyers that are searching for an investment during this time. And the last pointer is keeping things online is also the perfect way to reach buyers while still maintaining social distance. And that's a good point. Okay, so I will share this link to this article in this video that you can refer to. So some final thoughts on what I think could help seller to have a deal or complete a transaction. Again, is to examine again what are some of your key motivations and beliefs about selling a business. And there's also a need to understand if you're clear about your goals and perhaps your objectives, then take the right courses of action and believe that you can make this sale happen. It's probably one of the biggest milestones of life after perhaps if you're a retiring seller, after creating a business, maybe from a small one, having built it up for the last 5 or 10 years, and looking at another key milestone in life, handing it over to another person who will hopefully grow the business further, be a great successor, keep your legacy. And I think most companies are like babies to the owners or the founders. So to see the baby grow bigger and further to the next stage is always, I think, every owner's dreams. So I do believe dreams and passion does happen, and I've seen it happen many, many times over. So all the best, good luck, and I hope you will close the sale of the lifetime. Bye for now.